Hey everyone, you are watching Weekly Recharge, and it is time for a hot take. So here's my hot take, and I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. Trev's going to give me a lot of hate for this. He loves Pokemon. He watched our Pokemon Direct. I, on the other hand, not a fan. Not a fan of Pokemon. Haven't been ever. Not once. And I grew up as a gaming nerd, as a person that's, should be into all of this. This should be right down my alley. But boy, howdy. I mean, I was a kid when this all began. This was for me, and I totally missed it. I'm not a Pokemon fan at all. And that's not my hot take. My hot take is that GameFreak is a bad developer. You're welcome. GameFreak is a bad developer, and they shouldn't be making video games. They should they should, instead of making video games, they should give their license to someone who I think is a better developer, especially of RPGs or open worlds. That could be Square, that could be Ubisoft, that could be anyone. They should give it to someone else. What they're great at is making characters. No one does it better. I can't think of another franchise that has so many recognizable monster characters at all. I mean, the Gen 1 Pokemon, almost all of them bangers, right? And that's like 100 something odd Pokemon, right? They even past that, even the new generation. There's some bangers there too. So they know how to design characters. They know how to design monsters. Stick with it. Stick with that, because their games, they made one good game a long time ago, and the improvements have been so minuscule and so minor that I think they are essentially rehashing and overdoing it, and it's depressing to me as someone that wants to be a Pokemon fan to play these games that feel like they're 25 years old, right? It just, okay. So we're going to stop since I'm giving some hot takes about the things you love, Pokemon, right? My Pokemon fans out there, my GameFreak buddies. It's time for me to take a hot take of my own. I love Jaws, dude. Jaws, in my opinion, greatest movie of all time. I love Jaws. The greatest, guys. The greatest movie of all time. That's where I hold this movie. So let's see what this homeboy has got to say, or homegirl. Ted W. on September 6, 2020, decided to write this comment as a review on Rotten Tomatoes. Ted W. says, horrible, terrible movie, super long, don't get the hype. 1.5 stars. Oh, that hurts, Ted. I wish you were a little more descriptive, Ted, because there's a lot of good reviews here. Like, come on. Be a little more descriptive, but super long. But it's slow paced. Everyone thinks this movie's supposed to be like super action packed and blood and guts. No, dude, Ted, you don't get it. But I'll take it, Ted. I'll take it. Just because I'm giving it, I'll take it, Ted. Ted, I understand your feelings. I understand your emotions. I will hold a place for it, Ted W. I'm holding a place for it. Let's continue on with some more Pokemon hate. Game Freak. Not great developers, in my opinion. They love to stay small. They love to stay indie. That's fine. But the problem is you're not an indie company, dude. You are a giant, huge, big entity that has several things going on. You got cards, you got freaking, look at all this stuff. TV shows, anime, all kinds of stuff. You got so many properties flying in the air here. You cannot make your game studio, the thing that this whole thing started from, be so small. And you feel it. You feel it. Like when I see their games, when I see Sword and Shield and it's chugging along, barely can keep 30 frames as it goes through the grass. Like, let's go. Are you kidding me? This is on the Nintendo Switch, homies. Eevee and Pikachu, Let's Do It is on the Nintendo Switch, and that thing could not run. It barely run. It was barely ran. Can't run. It just isn't good. They can't make games like it. It just chugs through the grass. You can't figure this out. And you see these open worlds and everyone's like, yeah, dude, that's what I want. I want that. Yeah, you do want that. You know who can make that? Ubisoft. Anyone else other than this company Because when you see their open world, like this Arceus thing, when you see it, you think, dude, I was excited. I'm excited for it, but I'm worried. I'm worried it's not going to live up to the hype. This is their Breath of the Wild moment, guys. This is their Breath of the Wild moment. I'm sure it will be. It's going to be stuttery as crap. I guess Breath of the Wild was too. Breath of the Wild couldn't even run through its grass. We need a new Switch. Let's pause here. I've said some things. I'm sorry. So, another of my favorite things. Halo 2. Best Halo, in my opinion. Let's read some bad Halo 2 reviews. Now, this review is a 0 from Master Chief here. Strange to even have your name as Master Chief if you hate it so much. But okay. This came out in 2004. The game came out in 2004. So now that's the context. Now listen to what he's saying here. Poor level design, uninteresting story. Dated gameplay. Now this is what confuses me most of all. Dated gameplay. Master Chief from 2004 thought Halo 2, one of the most influential first-person shooter games of all time. Dude, the recharging health, that alone was like, boing, like blowing minds, bro. That changed gameplay for a lot of shooters, you know? I know we tried to go back with the health packs, but we didn't stay long. Let's continue. Unbalanced weapons. Okay, yeah, the pistols suck. Sluggish controls, 30 frames per second. What, you not 60 yet? Get on it, Xbox, you slow piece of trash. Still can't even perform 60, and it's like 2020. Good frick. Some poor multiplayer maps. Those were all problems of the first. So far, it doesn't look like much has changed. While Halo 2 has some new features, it still features dated gameplay and uninteresting enemies, story, and levels. Okay, I mean, like, slightly true. It's slightly true. There's some repetitiveness. Okay, I get it. The campaign. But the multiplayer was golden, baby. Chef's kiss. But I'll take it. I'll take it, Master Chief. I'll take it on, baby. We're going to continue. I am willing to take on the hate for my stuff so I can give hate out into the world. We're going to even things out. Balance. Perfect balance. Guys, the battle system. It's not good. It's not fun. Even Final Fantasy was like, yeah, we got to change this up. We can't keep doing this really poor turn-based stuff anymore. We got to change this up, right? Like Final Fantasy VII was like, yeah, we're going to remake this thing. We got to remake this thing, and we're going to keep it. It's a little turn-based, but we kind of got to jazz it up. Pokemon's like, no, dude, we're sticking to it, and it's going to feel ancient. You're going to fall asleep to these battles, baby. Just snuggle right in there with your little Pikachu friend. It is Sleepy Town. It is bad. It is old. It feels old. So that's one thing. Like the battle system, I think, is slow and plotting and boring. I think the open world that we all want is slowly coming to fruition, but I have this very sneaking suspicion that this new Arceus Legends thing is going to be one town. Maybe if we're lucky, we get two. And a big open space that's flat and boring. And that's my sneaking suspicion. That it's essentially what we got with Sword and Shields, those little wild areas, but bigger. So a lot of nothing. Just plain flat fields forever. Just Half-Life 2 is, maybe. So good. So good. Better than Halo. Yeah. Ivanov the Geek gives it a 1. It's hard to tell which Half-Life installment is better or worse. Both have incomparable, gigantic flaws. If I were to rate this game based on story, it would be a pretty decent one, even though the sci-fi really is not my cup of tea. Storytelling is, again, something that this game just can't handle. What is he saying? It's decent, but they can't handle the story? Ivanov. Come on now. Same as it was in the first Half-Life. Characters and NPCs act dumb, don't really tell much. Here it is even different. They just all stand in one place and follow routes. Better than that, have overall 3 idle animations, which make them bust and grin every 3 sentences. You can only imagine how odd it looks. How about gameplay? Complete utter joke. Barely any to be found. Mix of long and tedious walking and driving and shooting. Okay, the driving section, going through that area. It's a little slow. It's a little plotting. I give him that. But there are some amazing moments. Gravity gun. Gravity gun. Come on, everybody. The gravity gun is everything. The animations on their faces at the time, dude, Blue Minds. Blue Minds still looks good. I have enough. I take on your negativity, sir, to bring forth more. Let's continue this hot take on Pokemon. It's not an RPG. It's not a good RPG, at least. It's a collecting game with turn-based battles. There's no RPG. Where's the side missions? I would love me some side missions. I would love me some variety of missions or some kind of something different. Listen, I understand collecting the Pokemon's the mission. It's about catching them all, man. It's a collectathon. That's what I like about my Pokemon. I think that's fine. I think that's what makes it different and kind of cool. But what if there was side missions? What if there was something a little bit more interesting there? What if we, changed it up? Maybe there was no professor. There's a professor in the Legends game, guys. Every game is the same game with a different coat of paint, with barely any improvements. Look at new Pokemon Snap. Look at the visuals here. Bandai Namco did this. Pretty, right? Does this look like it should be on the Switch? Does this look a little more like it should be a Switch game than Legends? Legends should look like this. I understand. It's a small area. It's not an open world. Even with an open world, Legends should look like this. Could you imagine if Bandai Namco even was given this game? Give GameFreak character design. Let them have the Pokemon. Let them design the Pokemon. But when it comes to mission design, when it comes to story, when it becomes gameplay, when it becomes world building, all of that stuff, why don't we give it to someone else? Let's get a new developer on this. Let's change it up so we can all get the Pokemon game we want. I would love it. I would love to be into this. I want to be into this. I love these freaking monsters. These monsters are cool. This is really cool. I'm down with these pocket monsters, bro. I'm down with it. I'm not down with your game. Like, your game's not good. It's not a good game. Game Freak, you made a good game 25 years ago. That was a good game for its time. It is not a good game now. That's the problem. One of my favorite Marvel movies of all time, Infinity War. Not my favorite, but one of my favorites. Very high on the list. Love this movie. Let's see, what does Nicola G have to say about Infinity War? Obvious. Not surprising. Consequences clearly are not permanent. The rest of the film was ponderous, depressing, obvious, and slow. I really wish I had saved my time and money. There's some good points here. I don't know if you could say that it is slow. It's all climax. There's no even beginning to this thing. It's just you start at a war and it ends at war. It is all action. There are some moments of ponderousness, but those are usually the better moments in the movie. The depression is kind of the good stuff. Seeing everyone turn to dust. That's spoilers. That's the good part. That's why we all went to see the movie. But okay, we'll take it. We'll take it on. Keeping it on. Now here's my big worry about this game. I really do want Legends to be amazing. And I will give them the benefit of the doubt, right? This is the Breath of the Wild moment for it. Everyone, I want you guys to have this. I want you to have this moment. But tell me when you look at this game, does it not look lifeless? For a game that should have hundreds of Pokemon in it, it's very barren. And I know it's early, but it just seems so barren and so lifeless. And I feel like that's what we're going to get. We're going to get this big open space with a few Pokemon in it, with 0 missions, 0 places to explore, and not an interesting way to explore them. Breath of the Wild was interesting because of the way you interacted with the environment and that the environment felt alive. This doesn't look like it's alive. It doesn't look like the character model is even alive. just those wiki legs, barely any animation, any of that garbage, right? My worry is because of what this company has done in the past is that we're going to get the bare minimum. They're probably working their hardest, dude. They're doing their best with the team that they have, but I'm saying get a bigger team, get more people on your team, or give it to someone else and keep the monsters on your side. I'm sure there are good developers in there. They know things way more than I do. I'm not a game designer. I know shiz. I don't have a job at an awesome company, do I? I'm just a moron talking to you on YouTube, right? So, big deal, what I have to say. But for me, the games are just not good enough, and they could be better. And I think it's the developer that's holding it back. That GameFreak is holding these games back. And it's time to let go of that baby. It's time to let go. Give it to someone else. Give it to someone else. Let them try. And I think you could really get a true open world, which is lively, full of missions, cool, thought-provoking puzzles, all kinds of things that would make it like a real Breath of the Wild with collecting Pokemon in there as well. And that, to me, making this game, or even changing up the turn-based to be actually an action kind of thing. They say the Legends is going to be an action RPG. Where's the action? I don't see any action. Looks like the same click the 4 actions that you can do. Woo! Like, it is time. It is time to change. It is time to grow, and not in such a slow pace. You are so far behind. You are so far behind. It is time to move on. That's all I gotta say. Let's end with one last bad thing towards me. So if you saw, Wind Waker, my favorite Zelda game, Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword were both great games for the Wii. In fact, they were some of the few games in Nintendo's last console that were actually really worth playing. They were aimed at the more serious audience. It has good graphics and incredible gameplay, guaranteed not to disappoint. It's only a shame that Nintendo didn't link the two games together and create more of a story. Wind Waker, however, is a different story. Nintendo has ditched all seriousness that the series has once had and gone for a complete childish look. The graphics have taken a huge step down in quality, and the storyline is pretty dull and pathetic. The only real pro of the whole game is the interesting idea of traveling around different islands, allowing Nintendo to change the game's environments regularly without question. On the whole, though, Wind Waker is a huge disappointment to the series that once was great. One of the greatest games in the world. I can only hope Nintendo sees sense and finally starts to address an older, more serious audience in the future. But it's the dude, it's not true. You're full of it, okay? You're full of it. I've had it. I've had it enough. Okay? I've had enough of the hate of Wind Waker. That's it for Hot Takes from Weekly Recharge. Thanks for watching this video. Hopefully I did stir up too many pots. Although, I guess that was the point of this video, to make a lot of people sad, including myself. So in the end, I hope I did stir up a lot of pots and that you were very angry at me. Please leave a comment, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Also, once we hit 50 subscribers, we will be giving away a free video game to one of those 50 subscribers. So make sure you subscribe. That's how you enter to win. And leave a comment. That is also how you enter to win. Once we see your comment and that you've subscribed, you are automatically entered to win. We will contact you once we hit 50 subscribers so you can get your free game if you've won it. Till next time, you guys have a good one. I'll see you later.